How deep and dark that hole is in Europe, right? Eventually, you think.
If we ever get to the bottom of it.
Right.
All right, so there is worldwide criticism after shocking reports that a Christian pastor is now facing execution in Iran for not renouncing his religion. He is Iranian. His name is Yusuf Nadarkhani, and he is in his 30s. He converted to Christianity when he was 19 and is refusing to recant his faith. House Speaker John Boehner is one of the strongest voices in this case, and he is demanding the release of this pastor. And he says this: I urge Iran's leaders to abandon this dark path and to spare Nadarkhani his life and to grant him a full and unconditional release. Joined now by Zuhdi Jasser, who is the president and founder of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, and Father Jonathan Morris, who is a Roman Catholic priest and a Fox News contributor. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here this morning. This is a very serious case. This is a Christian man with a family in Iran. He runs a house church because he can't build his own chapel in that country, so they go from house to house, and he's had a growing following, and that may be why he's getting a lot of attention here. Zuhdi, you want to take that on first?
Yeah, you know, I think it's so important for us to realize that, first of all, we need to do everything we can to stop this execution and have him released. I applaud Speaker Boehner's courage in bringing this issue up. I expect Secretary Clinton to make a statement. The President will be important to make a statement, because this is one case of many. It's the tip of the iceberg of hundreds. There are over 200 people in Iran arrested for evangelizing in just the last 6 months. And the issue of apostasy and the penalties against it and those that speak out speaks to the deeper problem of the fascism of theocratic states like Iran that persecute minorities like Baha'is and Christians, persecute moderate Muslims. I mean, Martha, his attorney is actually a Muslim that's been disbarred for trying to help Christians like Yusuf in order to be free. And what happens is apostasy is sort of like committing treason against the Islamic State. So until groups like ours and others get a platform to say that, you know what, you need to separate mosque and state and stop this program of Sharia that indoctrinates youth. Remember, this minister, what really got the government upset in Iran was that he didn't want his children indoctrinated by the Iranian government. So he spoke up and is trying to make a stance against them. Yeah. And this is why they're trying to stop him from speaking out and kill him.
All right, Jonathan, this story reminds me of the stories of the lives of saints. You know, he's literally taking his own life in his hands to stand up for his Christian faith. That's
right, Martha. And there's certainly there's a very interesting political dimension to this. But the number one story, the storyline, is that this man and his lawyer as well have decided to risk their own lives, have decided to risk their own families' lives for the sake of their fundamental beliefs. I remember so well when Condoleezza Rice said that religious liberty is not just one right among many, but it is the litmus test for a nation's ability to protect human rights. Yeah. We're seeing him stand up for it. Interestingly enough, Martha, I looked yesterday. There was one news story on this that I could find. It was done by FoxNews.com. Yeah. Today, 253. It means the media standing up and saying this is shameful. And hopefully not just Speaker Boehner, but the President of the United States and the free world will stand up to the UN and say, we will defund you unless you start standing up for the lives of these people.
I mean, you think about the outcry for Troy Davis, who was executed recently. Stories everywhere about that, and understandably so, okay, because there was a lot of questions about that case. But shouldn't we be as fired up about this case, which provides us in a macabre way an example to show what we stand for in terms of human rights and faith as a country? How can we expect something from the White House and from Hillary Clinton to speak out in this case, Zuhdi?
Well, I hope we can. I mean, if they're going to stand by the words that President Obama stated at the UN last week that he was applauded for, and the UN's actually going to be about human rights and not just a show of dictators, I think ultimately they're going to need to make a statement and use this to say, you know what, we didn't walk away from the millions of Iranians that walked in the streets in the summer of 2009 and try to recoup the loss of credibility that the United States had when we did walk away from them. So maybe it's time now to use Yusuf's case and so many others at litmus tests to show that we stand for the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and behind Muslims, Christians, Jews, Baha'is, and others that are persecuted in fascist states like the Iranian regime.
All right. Well, we, credit goes to John Boehner for bringing this into the country's attention. And as you say, we expect that we will hear something from the White House and perhaps the State Department as well in defense of this man whose life could be put to death any moment now, really. As of last night, that window is open for his execution. So we will continue to stay on top of this. Father Jonathan, my thanks to you for being here. Zuhdi Jasser, as always, a pleasure to have you with us as well. Thank you, sir.
Terrific panel right there, huh?
Thank you, Mark.